to take you on a journey of empowering change, restoring communities. That's our vision statement, but it's also our passion to see communities restored and changed through bringing hope to people that feel hopeless. We want to bring hope to them and help make a world of difference in their lives. You can be involved by donating funds or gifts in kind. What we really need is not just the one-off donations, but we need people to give regularly. This enables us to be able to manage our programs, to budget them and organically grow through sustainable. Many people giving $5 for going a coffee, for getting their cappuccinos, every week giving $5 will make a massive difference to the lives of the people. You can also be involved by going. We have mission trips, humanitarian trips that go to the Philippines and other countries, make a difference in those communities. So I encourage you to be a part of those teams, whether you have a skill or not. We can have tradespeople, nurses, doctors, but also anybody that can go and make a difference and bring hope will be a big part of the change we need. And what if you can't go or give? I encourage you right now to become an advocate. We are needing advocates who will not only share our pages and have birthday fundraisers, but also to be able to have fundraisers themselves and help raise money for the cause and advocate on behalf of the people that are struggling. Thank you very much in advance for your help. And let's all together empower, change and restore communities. God bless you heaps, guys. I appreciate you all. to take you on a journey of empowering change, restoring communities. That's our vision statement, but it's also our passion to see communities restored and changed through bringing hope to people that feel hopeless. We want to bring hope to them and help make a world of difference in their lives. You can be involved by donating funds or gifts in kind. What we really need is not just the one-off donations, but we need people to give regularly. This enables us to be able to manage our programs, to budget them and organically grow through sustainable. Many people giving $5 for going a coffee, for getting their cappuccinos, every week giving $5 will make a massive difference to the lives of the people. You can also be involved by going. We have mission trips, humanitarian trips that go to the Philippines and other countries, make a difference in those communities. So I encourage you to be a part of those teams, whether you have a skill or not. We can have tradespeople, nurses, doctors, but also anybody that can go and make a difference and bring hope will be a big part of the change we need. And what if you can't go or give? I encourage you right now to become an advocate. We are needing advocates who will not only share our pages and have birthday fundraisers, but also to be able to have fundraised themselves and help raise money for the cause and advocate on behalf of the people that are struggling. Thank you very much in advance for your help. And let's all together empower, change and restore communities. God bless you heaps, guys. I appreciate you all. G'day, it's Russell Wright, the CEO of Create the Change Foundation Australasia. And it's coming online now to talk about a new initiative that we've started called Cuppa for a Cause. And Cuppa for a Cause is basically about giving up a coffee a week and giving that $5 saved towards our projects. We are finding that all over the world, particularly in our countries we work in, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Nepal and India, that COVID has had a massive impact on the people in those communities. So with this support, we're able to make a difference in their lives, and when broken, hurting situations, we've found we can make a difference with the resource. So giving $5 a week by several hundred people is going to make a massive difference to our cause. So if you can get involved, we'd love to hear from you. Either follow the link below to be able to set up a weekly donation through your credit or debit card, or if you're unable to do it through a credit or debit card, we can give you the bank details if you inbox us. So God bless you heaps, and we thank you for your support of our new initiative, Cuppa for a Cause. God bless you guys.
Well, welcome to all of our Facebook friends and supporters from all around the world. This is 5 Q&A live for channel CTCA, Create the Change Australasia, and I'm Pastor Glenda Hare. You know, one of the great things about social media is that it's about conversation, and we would love you to join in tonight's Q&A. Our team are waiting online to connect with you and send any requests you might have for tonight's guest or for myself. You know, while Paul and I are chatting, maybe you'll think of something and think, oh, I want to know about that. So send us in a message and the team will pass that on to us. And at the end of this session together with Paul, we'll answer some of those questions. We would love to hear from you. You know, I was reading a quote the other day. Denzel Washington said this: "At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even about what you've accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up and who you've made better. It's about what you've given back." And, you know, that's so true. It's not about what you have. It's not about what you've accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up, who you've made better. It's about what you've given back. And tonight it is my privilege to talk with a colleague and a friend who has made this his life's mission. So I'd like to say welcome to Pastor Paul Jurgens. Hi, Paul.
Hello, everyone. How are you all?
It's great to have you with us, Paul. You know, Paul and his wife Megan are the pastors of Heartland Church and Casino, which is in New South Wales near the Queensland border. And together with his family and their church, they've made a major impact on Casino and the surrounding districts with their willingness and their availability to wholeheartedly serve their community. And so tonight, as we go through our 5 questions, which always end up more than 5, but it's 5 Q&As what we're called, so we'll try and stick to 5. So first question, Paul, firstly, let's get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about Heartland Church and Casino, and how you and your team are actively involved in your community.
Yes, for sure. I guess my journey with Jesus started out at a very early age. And by the time I was a teenager, I decided that Jesus needed me in his kingdom and wanted me to work with him. And so I was impacted by God at an early age and wanted to follow God. In my 30s, I began to study to be a pastor, and so I was a late starter as a pastor. But very soon we were asked to pastor a church, and we went to Casino, a town of 10,000 people, and started there with a very dedicated group of Christians, people that love Jesus, people who had a very simple mission to be givers and to demonstrate Jesus' love to people through volunteering and giving. Mm. There's about 70 in our church, and so it's been a good journey these last 14 years.
That's awesome. So how are you and your team actively involved in your community?
Thanks. You did ask that question. So
I did ask that question.
We have a local group called Global Care that go out once a month and volunteer their time to help people that can't do things for themselves. So oftentimes it's the elderly, and we'll do their gardens. If it's an Indigenous household, sometimes they don't own their own car and trailer. So we'll take things to the rubbish tip for them. We'll oftentimes clean out people's houses as they haven't been able to get mold off their house or so forth, and we'll go through and clean a whole house, help the people tidy up and basically get back on a level playing field again. Yeah, so wow. We'll do lawn mowing and garden care. We'll oftentimes send volunteers into our local community kitchen or other different ways of helping. But it's very practical, and we don't stop except to show the love of Jesus. So that usually comes through a very natural conversation. So we don't have to push ourselves. It's usually because we help so much that people go, why would you want to help me? And then we can say we've gone over and above because we love God and God loves you. And he wants to be part of your life.
Yeah. Wow. Well, one of the reasons, I guess, or the main reason that we asked if you would come onto 5Q&A is because of your involvement in volunteering and your generosity. And of course, you've worked with us before. The Create the Change team have been involved in disaster relief for the last 24 years. And Paul, you deployed a few times to Kinglake and then again to Queensland for the floods. You were driving back and forth over several months to Grantham with a team of volunteers. And so my question is, this is regarding the volunteers. Does volunteering, here's the question, in disaster-affected communities, number one, does it make a difference to the locals and how? And secondly, is it a fulfilling experience for those volunteers? How does it impact them?
Yeah.
So you've got the community and you've got them.
Yeah, it is a two-way street, isn't it? Because as you say, that you've got the community and the people that are volunteering in that community. And I think starting with Kinglake, in Victoria with the fires in 2009, it was an eye-opening experience because I hadn't experienced hardship myself in that way. And Pastor Russell really guided us through understanding what it was like for the people to go through that and to suffer loss in lots of different ways. And so I believe that it made the difference in so many people's lives because it gave them a difference between having hope or not having any hope. And even I think some people's lives were spared from suicide, from killing themselves because of that hope. So I believe it just makes a huge difference to the community. I think to give people the thought that they will recover in the end from tragedy and trauma, I think that gives them a great chance to feel joy again eventually, at least to keep going, to continue on with life and to understand that there's people that care and love them. It's a huge difference to the community, I believe. So it makes a difference financially. It makes a difference that you're getting alongside people to show them that you care about them, that you're interested in their well-being and their development as humans. And I remember, Glenda, you and Jason were teaching music to the children at the school. So, you can tell us a little bit about that.
You want to flip the question around the other way. Yep. Well, yeah, I guess the same thing. It's about bringing hope and giving hope. And I know that you're a musician also, so music is a really big part of being able to carry hope through music. It's a great way to bring joy and to bring hope into people's lives. And I know for those kids, it was something for them to focus on, while mum and dad and parents and carers were busy coming to grips with what had happened in Kinglake. But for these kids, they had a moment of time where they could just play music and have games and do things that kids normally do. And so we watched the difference in them, and because we walked with them for a couple of years, we actually watched the change as they came through. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So I guess the second part of the question, of course, is volunteering a fulfilling experience? Well, you and I could both say irrevocably, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, you come away with more than you ever give. But the second part is just how are the volunteers impacted, do you believe? How does volunteering impact people?
So what we've observed is the ones that we took away with us for various crisis events, the ones that we took away with us were deeply impacted because they felt they could contribute. And I believe it's deep in the heart of our soul that we're born actually to give. It's part of our purpose in life is to give, and so a lot of people felt they could contribute. They felt that they had a bit of a choice in how they could do that, which was also very important to them. And they also felt that they could master skills and pass on those skills to others. And so that there's three components that even if you didn't have God in your life, it would still be fulfilling in that sense, in that you're developing as a human being and being able to contribute and feeling that you can bless other people's lives and give them something that has cost you something. And so that makes it even more valuable. And so I think each of the volunteers has come away with a sense of being fulfilled and getting towards where they want to be in life. Of course, the second part of that is because we know God, it's actually fulfilling our part of our mission, our life's calling. And because Jesus said it's more blessed to give than to receive, and there's this also eternal aspect to the whole thing. So even if you have a big day volunteering and you don't get thanked for it, you have this eternal reward waiting for you, and a sense of pleasing the God who made us. It's a very huge thing for a Christian to know that God's happy with our labors at the end of the day. Like it's just massive.
That's true. That's true. And it's interesting you were saying, even if you don't get thanked, and I look back, particularly in that season when we were all down there in King Lake together, you still came away at the end of the day feeling extraordinarily fulfilled. Like because you'd made a difference, and it might have just simply been, sitting with somebody over a cup of tea, and sometimes people think that to volunteer you need to be extraordinarily gifted or terribly skilled at doing, I don't know, different skills or whatever. But if you can make a cup of tea and just sit and listen to somebody, that was probably one of the most valuable skills that we saw in that time. And you came away changed. You would have noticed that if teams of people that you've brought in, and even locally, when your church members volunteer, it changes them.
Yeah. I can think of an example.
Yeah.
When we were in King Lake, my daughter was only 4 years old at the time, my daughter Shay, and we were having a community gathering, and there was a hanging where you dig a pit and start a fire and put some meat in and cook the meat. And my daughter Shay was there, and I remember thinking, I wonder how my daughter can contribute. And just at that moment, I saw a man with a beard that was looking very sad, and he looked really like a really tough guy, but he was really sad. And I said to my daughter, go and give that man a hug. And it was a very safe environment. I was watching her the whole time, and she walked up to this man and held her arms out at 4 years old. And she went, and the man picked her up, and basically you could almost see the tears welling up in his eyes as she gave him a hug. And she kind of did that for the rest of the evening, and I sort of went with her, and I believe she did more that night than anything that I could have done. So, we can volunteer at any age, and you can volunteer with any amount of skill, and the message gets through.
That is so true. So true. Well, where am I up to? Yes, I am. I know where I'm up to. Question number 3. See, I told you I was very professional at this. Very professional. I may not get a job on Channel 9, but that's okay. I don't want one. Question 3. So, Paul, you're a regular donor to missions, which I know, and also to other projects. And I know that at this moment you're currently supporting a pastor in the Philippines. And if you've actually been supporting Create the Changes projects for some time now. Now, you could give through so many different avenues. You've got we all have so many different opportunities. So my question to you is, why give to create the change?
Yeah. I think as we go through life, we find people that we can trust. We find people that are willing to be vulnerable and accountable to us, and we find people that are leaders. And we discovered in Pastor Russell Wright, we discovered a man that we could trust, and a man that was a great leader and would lead by example, by doing and allowing others to copy what he did. And I think from that relationship, I've been able to inspire other people to give into the cause. And so as Russell came to bring some people from Philippines over to minister in our church, the people's heart reached out to the Philippines. And so we knew that that would be our next mission thing that we would give into. But at the time, we had a small excess of money coming in for missions that we wanted to find a new place to invest in. And so that was the Philippines. And so that's been really valuable. I think all of the people at CTCA Create the Change, I think your mission to be hope carriers, to be in there and amongst the people. And I think in Luke 16:11, it says Jesus came, the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. And I think that's really fits with what you do. And so that's a very trustworthy mission to be able to give into. As I've observed, you're not about creating a name for yourselves, but you're about bringing different people from the kingdom of God all together to serve together. And this is what I love about CTCA. It's so easy to give to, because we know that the money will be used wisely. We know that it's about God's kingdom, and we know it's going to be used in a really good way. So, I mean, I could keep talking about Russell too, and how I've seen him give sacrificially, to give when he didn't have anything left to give, and he's a family man. He fights for his family as well, encouraging and inspiring even at a personal level, correcting others with humility. I've written a whole list down here of things that, you know, and I think with leadership, it comes from the top down. So if you can trust the leader, you can trust the way that the DNA goes through the whole organization. And so we trust you guys. You know, even in tough times, you're going. You know, I remember when Russell was only sleeping 4 hours a night, but he was studying as well as serving in the field, and these kind of things that we observe, like give incredible ability to trust and to go after and to continue to serve. Yeah. And great faith as well, like you guys.
Yeah.
Just not afraid to ask God for supply to help someone else. And when you're helping someone else, it's like God can't help but back you. He wants to get behind what you're doing, because you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it outside of yourself and in accordance with God's word and what he wants. It's just a very powerful thing. Wow.
That's really awesome. I actually have a question. A question has come in, and this is for you, okay? This question says, it's one thing to travel interstate and spend time helping people after a fire, but tell us about your amazing commitment and your amazing team's commitment, for example, traveling back and forth from Casino to Grantham, 3.5 hours each way. Can you give us a little bit of a story about that?
Oh boy. I remember at the end of 6 months, my committee said, "Paul, you've got to stop doing this. We need you at home." But I think there's something that catches your heart when you see people that have gone through trauma. There's something that makes you want to help and to dedicate to that. At a period of time, I really said I cannot do this any longer, and so our assistant pastors began traveling up every second time so that we could share the load. And then they fell in love with the people there as well. And so they took it on board. And when they came home, that was when they started our local global care to help the locals. So that one thing led into another, and I don't know where you find the energy to do these things. It's a God-given gift to be able to get in the car and go, to leave your family behind sometimes, to grab others and take them with you. It's a real stretch, but I believe that God is the one that supplies our resources and our energy. I remember Russell gave me a couple of fuel cards worth $20 each. I had 3 left, and on my return trip, only one of them worked. And I had just enough fuel to get home. Uh, uh, but we trust God for the supply, and He's the one that gives the energy to do this, and He's the one that keeps us going to travel and to stretch ourselves in that way.
Very cool. Very cool. Here's another one. How does giving and volunteering help you grow as a man, as a husband and a father? How does it make you a better person? Well, this is really personal. This is about you. Yes.
Sometimes it's easier to help people other than your family.
Wow.
So what I do is think to myself, what do my family need? I've helped others. Now, what do my own family need? And I think it's very easy to think they don't need anything. They've got food on the table. They've got a house to live in. They don't need anything. And I think it's a godly thing to apply what we're doing where there's great need, and then ask ourselves the question, what does my family need? So I think volunteering gives you insight into other people's lives. It gives you a depth of understanding that you would not have otherwise. One of the things I've done locally was volunteer with another group called Sheds of Hope. So after the fires came through in our own local community, I began helping this group to build a shed, a 6 metre by 3 metre wooden pole and iron shed. And what we found was that many people whose homes had been burnt out would actually live in the shed that we provided.
Wow.
So we, according to the council, we were only allowed to build 3 walls, to enclose 3 walls, and then it doesn't need development approval. And oftentimes the people would put the last wall in themselves and live in that shed as a place to live. So unless you see that, unless you put yourself out there, you don't have that care. You don't get to feel that care. And so that has changed me inside to be able to help people in that way, and just not be so selfish, not be so concerned about what I'm doing next, but to stretch. It's I need to get back in and do that again. I picked up some local work, so I've been working at the local dairy factory to catch up with paying off my bills and so forth. And there's seasons of volunteering, but we never stop altogether. We say, I'm going to take a break for a while, but then I'll come back to it. We need to understand the seasons in our life as well. And that's grown me as well to understand that it's okay to provide for my own family and okay to do that as well.
Awesome. That is awesome. Well, one of the initiatives that Create the Change has, it leads into this really well, actually, is called DART, Disaster Asset Ready Towns. And with their vision to see towns across Australia prepared with appropriate equipment, facilities, trained volunteers with all different skills, and being ready to be deployed to any disaster area, along with and working with other relief and recovery organisations, just like you spoke about then, and even the likes of Global Care. What are your thoughts about this initiative, Paul?
I think this is our chance for the church to shine. This is our chance to put our hand up and say, I want to be involved in my local community. I want to be one of the ones that gives without expecting something back. I think the local government is asking the community for help and to become part of their plan. If we put aside who gets the credit, then we can do so much, because then we can give without expectation, and that's giving in a godly way.
Yes.
The people who aren't Christians then say, "Who is this God that you follow? What do you believe?" Because we have never found people that are so easy to get on with, so easy to plan things with, and they see our good works and glorify our Father who is in heaven. It's just a great time for the church to shine. I think we need this. There's just so many things that can go wrong. There's tsunami, storms, hurricanes, floods, fire, droughts, and the new disaster is terrorism, which we may be looking at in coming years. So we need to be ready. We need to be working with our local community. We need to be cooperating with the ones that are in authority and saying, well, we can supply this for you. And it's a time for the church to shine.
Yes, yes. That's awesome. It's so good. It is. It's just such an awesome opportunity to use resource that are sitting oftentimes within our churches, and we're just not utilizing it. We're not using it. You know, if I often look, you know, around in a service and just look at the people, and I think, my gosh, what treasure and what gold is sitting right here, but we haven't yet made opportunity to utilize that, and to have churches ready to go and people trained and equipped. It just means, you know, oftentimes when we do have disasters, and we have a lot of them in Australia, a lot of people say too, I'd love to go, but I don't feel like I'm equipped. So here's our opportunity too, to get alongside people and say, let's get people prepared. Let's be ready. And it's a really exciting initiative that we're looking forward to seeing how that unfolds as we start to work together with some of our churches. Here's another question for you: How could church leaders encourage their members to get involved in community needs?
Yes.
Yes.
I think, and just coming back to that last thought too about being ready. If you start training when the crisis arrives, it's too late.
Too late.
Yeah. So we need to be, as you say, strategically planning this training and getting behind that, because it's a chance to be on the front foot. The other thing that I find too is that the locals, even though locals might be ready and trained themselves, they will be dealing with their own loss at the time there's a disaster. And so that's the real value of being able to send someone from another area in, because then these people are fresh and they're not suffering trauma themselves at the time. They're actually able to help. And so that's another big aspect of being trained and ready to go and be sent somewhere.
Yes, yes. Well, this has been great. You and I could keep talking about this all night. It wouldn't be difficult at all. But finally, as we wrap up, tell me, I mean, and you've already answered this, but let's tell us again, why giving and generosity is so valued by yourself and your church. And what would you say to anyone who's thinking of supporting Create the Change and its projects today and in the future?
Yeah, I would, if you're a Christian, I'd bring you back to John 3:16, that God so loved the world that he gave, and he gave his only son, but we can give something of ourselves, and that shows that God loves the world, and we are his hands and feet. God doesn't come down and supernaturally build a house for someone or rescue someone from fire or trauma. But we are his hands and feet, and I just have that simple thought: it's more blessed to give than to receive, and our people feel that. Our people understand that because Jesus is in their life, because Jesus is Lord of their life, then they need to reflect him somehow in this world. And you can give without loving, but it's very hard to love without giving. And so that would be probably my last thought around us. Create the Change, Australasia and Asia. That would be my thought around it. You can you can give without loving, but you can't love really without giving something.
Amen.
And so my encouragement would be to give into CTCA. I think you've got a trustworthy crew. I think you're doing something that is God inspired and God called, God breathed, and as you're meeting those needs, it's not only meeting needs, it's not only a cause, which is a great cause to be valued in people's lives, but it's to honour our Creator. And that would be my final thought, is just to honour Jesus, because we belong to Him and He's given His life for us, and we give to others because of that.
Oh, Paul, thank you so much. That's awesome. Yeah, so good. So good. Thank you for generously giving your time, sharing some great thoughts and insights with us tonight. And it's encouraged me. So, and I'm sure it's encouraging others as well. And so, folks, if you're watching, those of you watching tonight, you can lift somebody up. You can make their life better. And you can make a difference in somebody's life. Every one of us has the opportunity to do that. And I know that our team have got links below this live feed that you can click onto, which will lead you how to support Create the Change. And I'd like to say thank you in advance for that support. Every cent that is sown into Create the Change changes somebody's life for the better. And that's the exciting thing about what we do. And as Paul said, people's lives are being changed. It is a God-breathed initiative that the foundation is following, and we see the results of that every single day. So if you click on the link below, you can follow Create the Change on Facebook and see what we're doing. Find out for yourself. Check it out. We'd love you to be a part of what we're doing and to join us. And if you've got a heart for volunteering, send us a message, because we're always looking for people who want to be involved. And I know that the community is filled with people say, how can I get involved? How can I make a difference? And, we're in a season at the moment where we can't travel overseas, but our finances can. And so we can see the seeds of finances sown in, making a difference overseas. But we also have a really big nation right here, right on our doorstep, and people in need right where you're at, whether it be in Casino, whether it be here in Brisbane or Russell Island where I am, or anywhere else around the nation. There is a need, and we can help to create and change and bring change in around people's lives by volunteering or by supporting financially. So please click on the link below and get involved. We'd love to have you on board. And Paul, thank you again so much for joining us. Bless you heaps. May everything that you put your hand to multiply and be blessed beyond, because I know that as quick as it comes, you give it goes out again, because that's your heart. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Glenda, and thank you for everyone that's tuned in tonight. Thank you, Adrian, for interpreting for us. And yeah, it's just been so good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. God bless. We'll see you. Good night.
G'day, it's Russell Wright, the CEO of Create the Change Foundation Australasia. And it's coming online now to talk about a new initiative that we started called Cuppa for a Cause. And the Cup for a Cause is basically about giving up a coffee a week and giving that $5 saved towards that program. We are finding that all over the world, including our country, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Nepal, India, COVID has had a massive impact on the community. So with this support, we're able to make a difference in their lives. COVID is a hurting situation, and we can make a difference. So giving $5 a week by several hundred people, massive difference in their lives. So if you can get involved, I'd love to hear from you. Either follow the link below to be able to start a weekly donation to your credit or debit card, or if you're unable to do this with a credit or debit card, we can use the bank details that involves us. So God bless you heaps, and we thank you for your support of our new initiative. God bless you. I'd like to take you on a journey of empowering change, restoring communities. That's our vision statement, but it's also our passion to see communities restored and changed through bringing hope to people that feel hopeless. We want to bring hope to them and help make a world of difference in their lives. You can be involved by donating funds or gifts in kind. What we really need is not just the one-off donations, but we need people to give regularly. This enables us to be able to manage our programs, to budget them and organically grow through sustainable. Many people giving $5 for going a coffee, for getting their cappuccinos, every week giving $5 will make a massive difference to the lives of the people. You can also be involved by going. We have mission trips, humanitarian trips that go to the Philippines and other countries, make a difference in those communities. So I encourage you to be a part of those teams, whether you have a skill or not. We can have tradespeople, nurses, doctors, but also anybody that can go and make a difference and bring hope will be a big part of the change we need. And what if you can't go or give? I encourage you right now to become an advocate. We are needing advocates who will not only share our pages and have birthday fundraisers, but also to be able to have fundraised themselves and help raise money for the cause and advocate on behalf of the people that are struggling. Thank you very much in advance for your help. And let's all together empower, change and restore communities. God bless you heaps, guys. I appreciate you all. G'day, it's Russell Wright, the CEO of Create the Change Foundation Australasia. And it's coming online now to talk about a new initiative that we started called Cuppa for a Cause. And Cuppa for a Cause is basically about giving up a coffee a week and giving that $5 saved towards our projects. We are finding that all over the world, particularly in our countries we work in, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Nepal and India, that COVID has had a massive impact on the people in those communities. So with this support, we're able to make a difference in their lives, and with broken, hurting situations, we've found we can make a difference with the resource. So giving $5 a week by several hundred people is going to make a massive difference to our cause. So if you can get involved, we'd love to hear from you. Either follow the link below to be able to set up a weekly donation through your credit or debit card, or if you're unable to do it through a credit or debit card, we can give you the bank details if you inbox us. So God bless you heaps, and we thank you for your support of our new initiative, Cuppa for a Cause. God bless you guys.